Thanks so much, Darren, and good morning, everyone. I can see that we've got a great number of participants on the call. Like Darren said, I'm Sneha Chatterjee. I'm the Regional Director of Home Affairs based here in Sydney, and I wanted to start my presentation this morning by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the lands on which I'm coming to you today from. Pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and particularly any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who might be joining us today. I'd also like to thank Jorge, Yasmina from Starts, and particularly David for his efforts in pulling together this forum. I had the pleasure of being part of it last year, and I think we thought maybe we'd be able to come together in person, and here we are back on Zoom. My virtual background's a little bit better than last year, though. I managed to get my tech working like we all do. I wanted to cover off on a couple of things today. We've had a number of amazing guest speakers, and I couldn't possibly compete with them. But I wanted to cover off on a couple of things, and then of course we do have some panel discussions after that. So I'm very happy to take further questions in the chat and also in the panel that I'm on, which I think is topic 4. But I wanted to kind of just note that meaningful participation through forums like this is so critical. But this forum is an event that is going from strength to strength. And what I hope is that we will see more people like Adama shaping the Australian community and our culture as a nation, because the more people we have with big voices like Adama and like all of you participating, it makes our country stronger and it makes it a much better place to be. We continue to see this through COVID. And for those of us here in New South Wales, which I think lots of you are, it's never been as important to have communities come together. So I want to touch on a couple of things, like I said. So the first thing around Afghanistan. So Craig has already comprehensively covered off on some of those aspects, but I will note that the military evacuation operation out of Kabul was one of the largest humanitarian operations in Australian history, with 4,100 people evacuated on 32 flights out of Kabul. And I think we can happily say that all of those people are now out of hotel quarantine, which is absolutely a really great thing. I want to acknowledge that some of the stories that we've heard this morning and the outpouring of the Australian community support for people in Afghanistan. And we know that there's lots of questions. And I just wanted to kind of make the point in this forum that the government's working through all of those different questions, lots of questions around process, how you can continue to support people as well. The visa options for the humanitarian and migration programs, they'll come out really quickly, but I will pass on to the Minister Hawke, to his office, the feedback from this forum around the questions that you have. So please send them through the chat. But we certainly acknowledge that people continue to lodge, and it's really important that that there are proper channels to go through these things, and that you encourage people to make sure that they follow official Australian government information in that process. I also want to note that the Commonwealth Coordinator General, Alison Larkins, is taking the lead on the Australian government response, and she's supported by Paris Aristotle, who I know many of you know through his work with Foundation House, and a long supporter of refugee communities. So we'll continue to work with community leaders, refugee advocates, and organisations closely involved in humanitarian settlement to provide that response. I also know that the Humanitarian Program for 2021-22 has been set at 13,750 places. But of course, noting when I last spoke to you last year, we were talking about the same number for last year, and that many of those people are still waiting to travel to Australia. So the opening of international borders and the ongoing, travel of humanitarian entrants from both last program year and this program year continues to be a real priority. I think we see a blow account in the media daily about what that means for travel restrictions, etc. But that is certainly an ongoing area of focus for us. Finally, I wanted to note just Craig's comments about the community support program and ongoing review of settlement. The Minister Alex Hawke, asked Alison Larkins to do that work, and that will be coming out shortly. So I just wanted to highlight that that is certainly something that we're looking at and acknowledge the ongoing contributions of community to the successful settlement of refugee humanitarian migrants, but also all migrants. Darren, I know that we're running a little short on time, so I'm going to leave it there because, of course, we do have the panel discussion, but I just wanted to end my, my quick talk with you this morning by thanking everyone for being part of this forum, thanking particularly the hosts. And, you know, I think it's really great that we come together to talk about refugee communities, but wouldn't it be great that it is the whole Australian community talking about the contributions of all migrants to Australia, and that we continue those discussions, because we all come together today and it's like we're preaching to the converted, but the more and more we do it, the more mainstream it becomes. So thanks so much, Darren.